everyone, I thought it was about time I did you a video on the colour cubes. Now these colour cubes are made by Renae Clark, and there is a video on her website where she explains all about them. Now there are digital versions as well as these actual versions, so you can pick what might work for you. Now they come with an instruction sheet, so I thought we could have a look at that as well. I'm just going to show you what's inside. Firstly, the boxes come, I'm just stretching, in a lovely cardboard box like that, which is all labelled up. Sorry, I'm still zoomed in a bit close. I can't come any further out. Never mind. So they come in a nice cardboard box. You don't have to buy two. You can only buy the one. I decided to buy two because they were shipping from Australia and the shipping was quite expensive. I thought it would just make sense to get the two. If you buy from America, there's a shipping depot there, so I think that helps a little bit with postage, but from the UK they're shipped directly from Australia. It takes a little while to arrive, but that's okay. So let's open. They're both similar, so they have a lovely pattern. They come with these stickers 1 and 2. You can label the boxes or not. I just decided to label them, and you can label them on the side wherever you want. I don't know why I did it in the middle. So the lid just pops off entirely, and inside it tells you which one it is. The other one, as you would expect. Oops. It says volume 2. Okay, so let's have a look in here. So you get an instruction one as your first card. Okay, but I'll show you a card and then we'll look at the instructions in a minute. So here is a card. It has got a number in the corner, which is useful because I am actually working through them in number order. You don't have to do this at all. Some people have a good look through and pick one they want to use. I sort of think, right, today I'm going to use a palette. I'm just going to grab a card. I always pick my picture first. And it's like Jeopardy. Oh my goodness, what colours are we going to get? It's good fun. So basically you've got a photo, which, to be honest, I don't know why we've got a photo. I don't think I really need that. And you've got 5 colours that have been picked from the photo, which is fine. And then on the back it's quite useful. So it tells you the names of the colours, which isn't always that useful because it just depends. I've not got a hunter green colour in any of my pencils at all, so it doesn't necessarily help. It can a little bit. These numbers are something to do with graphic design, I think, so I just ignore those. These are the colours from the front, but here you get a lighter shade and a darker shade, which is quite useful. So what I tend to do is I do one of two things. I either just pick 5 colours and do some quick plain colouring, or I pick 3 of each. So then I've got a selection of colours, so I can go darker or lighter, and it gives me a little bit more scope. It depends on the picture, and so I pick the card and the picture, and then I decide whether I'm going to go for one or two. It's completely up to you how you use them. You can just use these. You can use black and white to change the tone and shade of the colour. You can mix it up however you like. Some people always combine black and white with them. Some people don't. There's no proper rules. But if we have a look at the instructions here now. So what she says is colour palettes can be used for many creative products, and there are no specific rules, and you can use as few or as many as you like. So you might decide, I don't want to use the green. Or I had one the other day which had a camel brown in and it was blues, and I decided to use a gold instead because it worked better for my picture. You know, remember, you make the rules. So you can use them as a limited palette or a starting point. So some people use several together in a picture, or they just use this for one part of the picture. And so it sort of helps you if you're not very good at choosing colours and you're scratching your head, you can just grab one, you know. So it says, because the reason they're printed right to the edge is so that you can swatch your pencils and put them right against your swatch. Say I swatch them on my hand, obviously I would. Put it right against there and you can match it as closely as you like. To be honest, I don't get too fussed about matching it really closely. If it isn't that close and it didn't work, I think, oh well, I just go with it. I don't mind, but it, you know, it depends on you. And Then it talks about, these are hex codes apparently, so I don't know. And it says that these are 20% tints and shades each way, so you can sort of think about lighter or darker variation. I don't know why there's a bit of dirt on my card. Anyway, so this is the first card, and as I said, I've been working through the box using them as I go, and so every card is similar. Okay, so you get the colours and things like that. Now there is a digital version. I think it's cheaper. It certainly wouldn't have postage, and I think there are advantages to the digital version, to be honest. I've not got the digital version, but I think if I wanted a suitable palette for a floral page, how would I find it? I've got all these cards. Would I get them all out, spread them all over the floor and choose? No. So if you want to find, whereas with the digital version, I think, not having had it, I think you can do searches for seasonal colours or sea colours, ocean colours, or things like that. So I think that would be quite helpful in a way. And I am really, to be honest, tempted to get it and use it alongside the cards, but I think it might just make my cards redundant if I just had that. So I'm not sure. What I'm doing now is I'm working through my cards, as I said, all the way through. I've got to, I can't think, I've got, I'm using my instruction card as a marker. I've done that one, done those. There it is. So I've got to that one. So that was the last one I did. So I'm just working through them, grabbing one and going, and I'm going to do that now. I'm going to use my next one that I'm at and do it with you, so you can see how I use it. Oh, I've done that one. All right. I haven't moved my card, so I just use this as a marker to show where I've got to. You don't have to do it this way. I just want to try out each one. So here's our next one. Oops. Ooh. Oh. No, that's the next one. No, hang on, 28, that's my next one. So we've got these colours. It's quite a bright picture, and I've already picked my picture, and I'm just going to show you how I pick my colours. So that's Colour Cube. Also, in addition to the Colour Cube software, you can buy additional software which would tell you which pencils work. So you can find the palette number 28 and it will tell you which Prismacolor pencils match, which polys match, etc. I don't know which brands it covers, but that could be really useful if you're not too good at matching. But I'm oh, we've got a bit on the back. It says the colour names are approximate. You might see them several times. I've noticed that actually, and because there's no universal naming, it might not work, and they might appear differently on screen and in print, which all makes sense. So let's have a look at our colours. It tells us on the back dark blue, imperial red. I find this quite useful just as a guide for when I'm looking in my tin and trying to find the colours. I brought my Castle Arts through, so let's match the colours first. So I've only got 72. It should be enough. I have only done this so far with my polychromos, so it'll be interesting. So we've got a Kelly green. Now, if you've got a swatch of your pencils already done, that would be useful here, yeah? You can imagine. I'm only going to pick one pencil for each one because the picture I've got is really simple and I don't think I want to have too many. Now I'm going to have a quick glance and think that that looks like quite like that. But we can scribble it, we can swatch it, scribble it, it's probably not the right term. Just, I've got a rough book here, bear with me, just turning the page. This is where so the idea is you grab your pencil, we'll do a quick swatch and we'll hold it against there and think, actually that's a little bit light. Maybe that one would be better. But that's a bit too blue. Yeah, so maybe this one. I think this might be too yellow. Yeah, that's no good. I think we'll stick with the first one. I think it's the closest I'm going to get. So I'm going to use that one, which is the Castle Green Light. it's fine. I don't want to be very, very specific. I just want to be as close as I can get. Okay, so we've got mustard here. I'm thinking that, will the terracotta light maybe be the right shade? Now normally, it's a little bit too brown, isn't it? I don't swatch them, I just grab and go. I'm not that worried about them being really accurate, but I'm just sort of showing you what you can do. I think that's quite close. I'm going to use that. That is the cadmium yellow. Now we need a blood orange. I'm thinking the burnt ochre looks quite close. Look at that. I'm going to use that. Imperial red. Now I'm thinking that maybe doesn't look like, it might be more the Indian red, maybe. Oh no, it's a bit pink, isn't it? It needs to be slightly more browny, maybe the cinnamon. So you have to sort of know your pencil sets fairly well. Apparently I don't. What about the sepia? Is that closer? No. Yeah. I think I'm going to stick with the Indian red, which is that one. That's the closest I'm going to get. My instinct was right. I sort of trusted myself. Now we've got a dark blue. I'm probably going to go with the indigo. This is indigo light, but I think it's probably the darkest we've got, actually. You see, it's not as dark. This one looks like it might be darker, but it's a Prussian blue. It might be too purpley. See, that isn't as dark. That looks more like a royal blue. I think we'll go with this indigo. So there we have our selection of colours. Hang on. Let's just pop. And the joy with this is on my desk, I have limited space. So I can grab my pencils out, even if I do 3 for each, put my tin right away, out of the way. I've just got a handful of pencils like that. And it's, you know, so we've got blue, red, green, orange and yellow. There we go, look. Okay. Whoop. So that is our colours. Now, yes, you could do a couple each side, lighter and darker, and it gets even harder to match, admittedly, but I don't think that matters. So there is our inspiration card. We'll leave that there. And I've just picked this really simple picture from this little book. Whoops, the pencils want to run away. Pocket colouring inspiration. I just wanted to do something really small. Now, you might not naturally think, let's put a sharpener there, stop them rolling away, that these pencils would work, but we'll give it a try. So I'm going to start with the yellow and just do the outside. Now I'm going to do quite solid colouring for this particular picture. It doesn't look like it needs too much sort of shading and things, but the joy with the palette is because it's so you can use it however you wish. Let's come in a bit closer for you. Because you can use it however you wish. You can mix up the colours. So I could mix up my orange and yellow if I wanted to. I could, you know, put some black in it. I can do whatever I like. There's no rules, it's my rules. You can change the rules as you go. Don't feel you've got to just stick to what you decide and off you go. You can do whatever you like. You see, you might decide that this star is going to look nicer with a metallic gel pen outside. So why not do it, you know? So it's, what I found is, I'm hoping that it's going to open my mind to some new colour combinations, because I tend to stick with quite similar ones. Now my pencils are in my way. Hang on. Put you up there. There we go. So yeah, so I think it might also mean that I use up pencils that I don't tend to use. I don't know if that makes sense, but you may find that you've got certain pencils that you don't use very often, certain colours that, you know, are ones that just don't get used. And so this might help me to actually use them Now I'm thinking a little bit. I'm going to do this one yellow as well. This pencil is not behaving. Can you see I've got scratches of orange and a yellow? I noticed that happening the other day with a Crayola one that I was using. You can usually erase that a little bit and then try again, but I'm going to just ignore it because this isn't really a colouring exercise. This is just to show you how it can work. Now, you've still got to make choices as to where to put your colours. It's not completely easy. I mean, if I had leaves, I would use my green for that, and that would eliminate a colour decision, if you understand what I mean. But I don't have leaves, so I've got to think differently. But it means that I've only got 5 to choose from, or even if I had 3 of each, I would only have 15, and it would still be, it wouldn't be so hard. 15 doesn't, you still really only have 5 because you're going, am I going yellow? And then once you decide yellow, you can decide whether you have dark or light. You see, if I had different shades of yellow, I'd probably put a darker bit on the corners and sort of shade it a bit, maybe even make this proper gold. If I had some lighter and darker, I probably still couldn't make it look really gold. But, you know, it's just fun. Now, you don't have to do really plain colouring, although that's what I'm showing you today. It's that's not what it's about at all. I have used it for all sorts of projects because, as you can see, I'm on number 28, so I've already used 27 cards for various projects, some buddy colours and some not. Now, I do feel a little reluctant to show you like too many cards, because I think if I show you too many, like, I'm not going to do a flip through of the cards, because then you would have them all and you wouldn't need to buy them, and I don't think that's quite the right thing to do. I mean, it's different doing a flip through of a book when you can't, if you want it, you're going to buy it for yourself. With these, you could just you know, pinch the palette. I'm really intrigued as to what that is. It's not it looks like a hard-boiled egg, but it isn't. It's white flesh with seeds in. It's very strange. Anyway, there are other places that you can get colour palettes from. So if you want to have a little go for yourself before you buy, to see if you like using them, firstly, Sarah Renae Clark shares some on her own website, so you can go and have a little looky there. And Colour with Claire shares one every week on her website too. Some are Sarah Renae Clark, some are others. And if you go on Pinterest, you can often find them. So it's you can have a little go and see if you like them before you commit to buying, because they aren't cheap. As I say, the shipping was very expensive, which isn't surprising. I'm going to go onto my Indian red and I'm going to do all my lettering. Oops, in the red I've decided. I can't really talk you through why I've decided that. I think I wanted it to stand out, and I thought this is a sort of standout colour. So yes, you can go to these other places. You won't get the card itself, obviously, so you won't be able to swatch up close to it, which is the main advantage of the card, is being able to see it really closely and swatch it. Also, I find it quite... I use it as a bookmark, so if my friend Michelle says let's do X page and X number, she has got the digital version, so she might pick a palette, and I grab the card and I use it as a bookmark in my book so that I can remember what page and what card we're doing, because I'm usually don't colour it right away because I'm usually in the middle of something else. That's quite handy. Couldn't do that with a digital one, but I'm still sort of tempted by the digital version. I am going to have a look into it, and I think I've got a big birthday coming up this year, so you know, you never know. This writing is so small, I'm colouring it so messily, but oh never mind it. I might do a bit more red. We've got these sort of heart shapes. I think I'm going to do those. This is a cute little book, by the way. My friend Michelle bought me these for Christmas. She bought me a couple of pocket colouring books. It's actually, you know, not designed for me to doing at home. It's really for me to take out and about with me, which is a brilliant idea. you know, stick it in your bag, little packet of polycolours, or yeah, I've got a 12 set, you see, or my 12 Holbein pastels, something like that. Little tin, shove it in your bag, pencil sharpener, you're off. I usually like to have an eraser as well. It's like my security blanket. Let's leave that now. Now we're going to do the green. I'm thinking about the background for this. I think the orange might set off the red quite well. Now some of the cards have a very limited palette, which I find quite fun. There was one that I did which was just sort of blues and browns, which was interesting, and one that was blues and golds. So that is nice. The first few that I picked out are all quite festive, with lots of reds and greens, which was really useful because I was doing festive pictures at the time. But there's quite a range, and of course you can just spend time looking through until you find one that suits your picture, sort of thing. It's completely up to you. I'm going to do that one in this colour too. But so yes, there are different ways so you could grab a card and then choose a picture that goes with that card. You could grab a picture and then choose a card that goes with that picture, or you could just grab a picture and choose a random card, grab a card and choose a random picture, or choose both randomly. It depends how much jeopardy you want. It's very much what I do is I choose a picture normally. That's how I colour. I choose my next picture. Firstly, the book. I think, oh, what book do I want? And I've got a lot of books. So to choose a book, I normally think, well, which books do I want to finish? If I can't think of a book that I just instantly feel like I'm in the mood for, you know, sometimes I'm in the mood for Johanna Basford or Hannah Coulson or whatever it might be. Sometimes I just don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this sort of background. So I choose the book first. If I can't think of someone, then this is why I have a colouring goal. If I can't choose a book, I think, well, I want to finish X book this year. I've got a list of books that I want to finish this year. So then I can turn to that list and think, well, am I in the mood for X book, Y book, or have I done many of them this month? Because, you know, I want to keep it fairly even. I don't want to... Last year I sort of finished a book in a month, and when I did my completed pages, it meant everything was from one book, which I thought was a little bit dull. So I don't want to do that this month. I want to spread it out a little this year, spread it out a little more. So I think, well, I want to finish, say, Miniature Enchanted Forest. How many pictures have I done from that this year? This month I've done one. Okay, well, I could do doing a few more, so I'll use that book. Now, if I'm really not knowing what to colour, I will take the next uncoloured picture in the book. So I just flick. Oh, I think that was a mistake. I think that should be green and that should be blue. I don't know if there's any point in trying to erase. I've just knocked all my stickles over. I'm good at doing that. It's lucky they don't leak. Where was I at there? No. If I put a hard enough bit of blue on top, it'll hide it, hopefully. So I do the next one I haven't done. And then, if I can't think of a colour scheme, grab a card. That's how I colour. I don't like to spend too long. I know some people take ages choosing a picture. I just want to colour. And if I can't decide what to colour, then I just do it quick. You know, the picture isn't always important. It might be the occasion when I do that and think, actually, no, I don't want to do that. And then if I don't want to do it, it means there's something I do want to do. So I have to think of what that is. So that's that. And sometimes I'm in the mood for doing what I'm doing now, which is just like quick block colour. And it's usually when I'm watching TV, or if I'm watching Strictly Come Dancing, which is my favourite show, I don't colour, I just am totally absorbed. But if I'm watching something like The Masked Singer or The Masked Dancer, that's about all I watch. It's really tacky telly, I know. It's just something to chill, entertaining, family fun, no drama, everyone's smiley and happy, that's what I like. Then if it's that program, All Dancing on Ice, there's a lot of blurby filling, which there is in the dancing too. You know, I quite like that without adding in the blue. I think it looks really nice, but I'm going to put the blue in anyway in all the gaps, because that's what we've been told to do. But we don't have to, you know, we could just miss it out because there's no rules. But I'm going to put it in and we'll see whether we think it was better without it. It'll be interesting, won't it? So so yes, a little pad. If you're on your knee, you're colouring on your knee, a little book like this is ideal. I think this needs sharpening. It's a bit blunt. Okay. That is a bit sharp. I'm not happy, am I? It's either too blunt or too sharp. So I think if some people have criticised these colour cubes and say, you know, it doesn't add anything to your colouring, why do it, it's just ripping people off and blah. And I read that in the comments, and that's what actually convinced me to buy them, because I thought that was really unfair, because I know a lot of people find it difficult to decide what colours to do things. This particular picture I would struggle, you know, because it doesn't lend itself to anything obvious. You know, if I'm colouring a heart, then I go pink. If I'm colouring a flower, then I go, you know, leaves, green, trees, trunks, brown. I can think of colours, but some pictures are quite random and colours don't always come. Oh, my stomach's rumbling. I'm really hungry. It's 11:10. Better not eat anything yet. So I think that was unfair. And I think for any sort of projects, you know, DIY projects, graphic design projects, anything, they could be really useful. I say DIY, I'm looking at this thinking, would I want my sitting room painted this colour? One more yellow, one more orange, one more green, one more red. Carpet blue, red sofa, blue carpet. Green ceiling? Probably not. Although having just done our kitchen, going on about it again, when we had some guests over at Christmas, they said, oh, when are you going to do the rest of your house? So, oh, because there's a lot of colour in the kitchen. The rest of our house, every room is cream and white, and the carpets are just sort of beige, you know. So they had a point, but I'm not ready for another project yet. I need some time to just enjoy my project, my quiet house. But I think this blue is looking quite cool. I'm still thinking I liked it without it. But never be afraid to leave white. You know, we could have left these bits white. We don't have to colour in every bit. I mean, it might look like you were lazy and couldn't be bothered to colour, but actually you're the artist. You're the one looking. If you think it looks better left white, leave it white. Same as the backgrounds. You know, I do have people saying, what can I do for this background? You know, asking me for advice like I know it all. I don't. But quite often, if you want your thing to pop off the page, having a white background can be really good, because say I did an orange background for this, the orange would sort of look weird. Or if I did a cream background, the yellow wouldn't look as bright. You know, I think the white background on this helps it to stand out. So you don't always need one. And I find that certain pictures want backgrounds and certain pictures don't. For example, if this picture was a star in a sky, and obviously it's not, then I would want to colour the sky because I think it would need to be. But with it being just sort of got this writing around it, it doesn't need a setting. I think it's perfectly fine just on the white paper. And we've got white here. So say we use that white. If we need an excuse, we can say, well, white was in our palette. You know, sometimes there's white in the actual palette in these, which is interesting. So that's quite... So there we go. Let's put the pencils down to remind you. Red, green, orange, yellow. There we go. So that is how, there's my sort of different ideas on how you can sort of use the colour cube, which I think it is a fun addition to my colouring arsenal. Right word? I don't know. Whoa, come on pencils, just stay there while I take a photo. Go on, go on. I have to hold them with my finger, hopefully you can't see it. But you know, for me it's a lot of fun. As I say, they're expensive, so play around. If you're not sure, use some palettes, use this one, use some from Sarah Renae Clark's website, use some from other places. Watch her video about it and how to use it, because it goes into a lot more detail than mine. Just have a think about how much you're going to use it, and maybe consider the digital ones, which, as I say, I think they are a little cheaper, but I'm not sure. So that is a different option, because as I say, the postage is expensive depending on where you live. So have a think, but I like them. I'm really pleased. Although I say I think the digital might have suited me better, I'm really happy that I bought them. I certainly don't regret them. I'm having great fun with them, and I can see me continuing to have good fun with them. But once I use all of them, I'm not sure that I will want to use them in this form. I'm thinking maybe rather than being in the box, which is quite difficult to manipulate, I'll show you, because they're so tightly packed. They're so tightly packed in the box, in order to look at them, you can't look at them. You can look at the front one, but you can't pull them apart and really look at them. So in order to manipulate them, you have to take them out. Well, that's beautiful. Anyway, so I think I would be tempted to maybe put them in some sort of sleeves, or even, I don't know, put a hole in and string round so you can flip them, something. I'm not really sure, but obviously this is a very neat way of transporting them, and that sort of thing. And if they were tied together in any way, you couldn't use them as a bookmark like I sometimes do. So I'm not sure, but once I've been through them all, I might have a think. But I do want to talk about quickly just the packaging. I was very impressed. I showed you the box it came in, but it wasn't sent just in that box. Each box had a plastic corner around it. Each corner, sorry, of the main box, this cardboard box, had a sort of plastic corner around it here, and then was bubble wrapped around, so that it was so protected, so these didn't get dented. Because you imagine if any corner, it's a very sturdy box, but if any corner got dented, your cards would be ruined and they would be all buckled and horrible. So I was very impressed with that, and obviously part of the expensive postage cost would be for that packaging, which, as I say, I was impressed with. But I think that's everything. But do ask me questions in the comments if you've got any, and I will put a link in there to Sarah Renae Clark's website where you can purchase them and look at her video and things like that, because I think it's really important to do that. I'll also put a link to the book and the pencils in case you're interested in those, as I always do. But that's me. I think that's everything. I probably will do more colouring using these, whether they're on video or not, I'm not sure. But that's me for now. So thank you very much for watching. Have a really lovely day and happy colouring.